What's popping, y'all? FaZe Banks just keeps, well, he's been damn near the last one that's FaZe. He just keeps making things worse the more he speaks, honestly, because he decided to bring in the new year with the old him and go through a couple of different moments in his history that the new FaZe guys are not too happy with. So he would post on Instagram after it being over a year since he had last posted, and this was his caption. I made my first YouTube video in 2008. FaZe Clan was founded in 2010. I dropped out of college to pursue a career in social media in 2011. I moved into a house in New York City. With Rain, these guys were not in New York City. They were in New York State. With Rain, Adapt, Apex, Temper, Tico, Blaze in 2014. The first ever, quote, content house. I don't think the TSM house preceded this. The TSM house was in like 2011 or 2012. So that's the thing. I mean, I guess this was a content house and the other one was like more of a gaming house. But nevertheless, we're not going to take away from TSM's accomplishment there. I moved into the Cloud House in LA with Rice Gum and started dating Alyssa in 2017. I moved the Nelk Boys and Steve Will Do It to LA in 20. This guy acts like he's I think he's like the honestly, it does. When you think of FaZe Banks, you do think LA Clout. So maybe he was the guy. He was the bridge. He was like, everybody's coming to LA through me. Met, recruited, and took over Fortnite with Tfue in 2019. Let's not talk about the 85%. Remember Tfue? Tfue took over and then he left FaZe very, very soon after. Moved Aiden Ross to LA and lived with him in 2021. I'm not going to lie. When he brought Aiden Ross in, Aiden Ross had such crazy levels of motion that it was a no-brainer. It wasn't like, yo, I just took this Aiden Ross guy out of nowhere. Nah, Aiden. And they had him wearing the FaZe chain and everything too. Now, Aiden wasn't dumb enough to join FaZe because there wasn't much of a FaZe to join at that point other than like the whole esports thing that was going on. But yeah, he didn't mention Mike Majlak at all either, or Mike Malak, who was living there, all at the beginning of their career. This is cap, bro. This is such cap. Aiden Ross was just blowing up insane. He had already done the Bronny thing before he moved to LA. He played with Bronny. LeBron James reacts. The Karina Koff thing, I think that happens at the same time. I think that happened even before he showed up in LA. Aiden Ross had a Lamborghini Urus when he got to LA. That's the first thing he bought when he got to LA. So don't do this whole at the beginning of his career. Like, come on, man. The guy was already up. Got sober at the end of 2022. Congratulations to him for that. Lost my father and bought FaZe Clan back for $35 million in 2023. This is where we got to get to. Did you buy FaZe Clan back for $35 million, or did the investors buy FaZe Clan back and you got us percentage? Like, how much did FaZe Banks actually contribute of his own money into FaZe Clan, into buying it back in 2023? That's what I'm interested in here, because people also say that he recently sold the top of FaZe Clan and then everyone left after that. So he sold whatever shares he had. And I think FaZe Rain was upset with that because of the 51-49 thing, although he doesn't like talk too much. I don't see him talk negatively about Banks. I think they've just had a close relationship for so long. Relaunched the brand with 4 kids most people hadn't really ever heard of and a vision of a streaming house in 2024. This is true. People hadn't really heard of them. You're not going to say, like, Aiden Ross, when he came to that house, he was bigger than everybody in FaZe, in the new FaZe, except maybe your age, of course, when he put them together in that house. Won Streaming Org of the Year that same year. Won it again in 2025. The one thing each and every one of these marquee moments, and actually Blackboy Max, when he joined FaZe, was probably one of the guys that... Wait, hold on. He's talking about 4 kids most people hadn't heard of. We've got Lacy. We've got Ron. We've got... Who else? The other guy, Adapt, people obviously had heard of. We've got... No way he put Blackboy Max in the 4 kids most people hadn't heard of. Blackboy Max was damn near as big as Aiden Ross when he first got to LA, maybe even bigger. No, Blackboy Max was bigger than that when he first joined with these guys. So if he's talking about Blackboy Max as one of the 4, that's nah, buddy. Hell nah. Won it again in 2025. The one thing each and every one of these marquee moments in my life and career shares that I was the first to believe they were possible. I mean, what did he believe that Nelk Boys and Steve Will Do It were the first to be was the first to possibly move to LA? Like, what does he mean by that? The content house thing, yeah, I will say that was for sure a big deal. Now, in 2014, wasn't there also a content house? I think it was Our Generation or something like that. It was like 4 guys, or like they were young guys, and I think they had a lot of girls watching their content. That was a thing too at a similar time. It may have been right before them or at the same time. But regardless, like, I'll give him full credit for like the content house thing. Pursuing a career in social media, he was definitely early on that, for sure. Certainly. And then the Clout House in LA, he got a little bit of pushback for that, because you got to keep in mind, they were content house, gaming, Call of Duty, and then they move into a Clout House, and it's like Rice Gum and these other guys, like, what's going on here? Like, this became even more of a content house, because this was just, people weren't even really gaming like that. Like Rice Gum, yeah, he got on streaming on MLG and stuff like that, but he wasn't known as a gamer. He was more so like lifestyle content. But having those 4 guys put together in one roof that seemed like they wouldn't get along was for sure a good move. I think that's one of the most impressive moves I had seen from Banks. And them winning that Org of the Year twice in a row. And that everyone called me crazy at the start of each one, but by the end, they all saw what I saw. And now here I am. The year is 2026 and everyone's asking me what's next. I don't know if everyone's asking what's next. What I can tell you here and now is that my best years are ahead of me. I like this mentality. And I can't effing wait to show you. Stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere. This is great. I'm always interested in what Banks is doing next. This guy is at the forefront. We laugh at it. I also think he should add the contributions that FaZe Clan made to music artists like a Logic or even Ian Dior. Like, he put Ian Dior in a lot of rooms with a lot of people early on in the game. But the reactions by some of the streamers that have left was interesting, to say the least. Now, Jason Noween and Lacy, they were together. Lacy really reacted in this clip. I'm going to play you guys that right now.
Did you hear the news? Before we joined FaZe, nobody knew who we were.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. Come on, bro. Why he downplaying us, man? You had that one McDonald's clip, bro.
I was averaging like 8K before I joined FaZe.
Me too.
Nobody knew, though. Nobody knew. You gotta be here.
Yeah.
So Lacy, certainly, I knew who Lacy was before FaZe. Now, was he like the hottest thing? No, but he had motion on Twitch. He had his own fan base. He was killing it. Like, they didn't pick up randoms with 800 viewers, put them all that. You know who tried to do that? Daquan and Hamlin's, when they got that bread from NRG, when they made that Thum house, and they tried to put together a bunch of different people who had no views. I think these people were averaging less than 100, and they tried to make that work. That was one of the biggest flops in content group history. And I'm going to be fair here. Some people are going to say like, oh, nah, they had internet issues and that's why they didn't stream. I don't think so, man. There's just no way. I mean, maybe Starlink wasn't as good back then, but you're not going to tell me that these guys did content for like a week and a half and then they just dipped. I think they just ran off with the bag on NRG, and that's what happened in that situation. Well, Ronaldo would respond as well, and I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
With him 2021, all the beginnings of their careers. Got sober at the end of 2022. Lost my father and brother. Relaunched the brand with 4 streamers most people really hadn't heard of. 1 streaming org of the year. 1 it again 2025. Wait, why is he calling me a random? Is he calling me this before I joined FaZe? Listen, man, all I know is never ever say you did something for other people, bro. If that's truly what you live by, then that's something wrong with you. Listen, if you did something for other people, you should just have that in your body. You shouldn't try to flex that. You know what I'm saying? I help people all the time, mentally, physically, emotionally, but I don't rub that in people's faces. Like, I feel that's like a weird thing to do. If you're a good person, good people don't just flex that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Am I wrong? Don't just ride me. Genuinely serious. Don't just ride me. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're a good person, you don't rub that into people's faces.
The biggest joke would be if he said Ron was somebody that people hadn't really heard of. Now, Ronaldo right now, he is the biggest out of that whole crew. Like, this guy's he's killing it right now. He's putting out really good streams that his community messes with. I've seen the clips here and there. I'm not going to sit down and watch a full stream, to be honest. Like, I'm not 20 anymore, 21 anymore, or even 19. However, I will say that I can see when it's good. And this guy is doing well. The numbers are there. How much is botted? Really, if everybody's botting and you're killing it, then you're killing it. The guy's chat is flying too. So, and you can if you've been watching streams for long enough, like I have, you can tell, okay, this is a real person chatting versus, okay, this is a spam bot. But yeah, who are the 4 people? It can't be Ron, because Ron was already huge in Fortnite. As a brand, Stable Ronaldo, I knew what that was. I didn't know how good he was at Fortnite because I didn't really follow Fortnite like that, but I knew who he was. I had seen him on X a bunch of times. Now, I know his viewership was definitely down in the dumps, but to say that nobody knew who he was, and I think he was growing again before he got back into FaZe with these 4 guys. And I kind of agree with the point where he's saying, like, yo, I did a bunch of stuff for people, but I think it's just Banks telling the world. I don't think Banks is constantly throwing it in people's face that he helped them out or did whatever for them. And then Jason the Ween would react too, and I'm gonna play you guys that clip right now.
Nobody ever really heard of. We lost a brand with 4 kids nobody really ever heard of, and Vision Stream House and 20. I don't want to deal with this yet, but I would say this, bro. Nah, bro, Banks made. Dude, Banks didn't know who the I was going into the new phase. It was Ray and Rage and Kason.
This has to be the funniest one because I had no idea who Jason the Ween was as well. So I'm not surprised that Banks had no idea who he was. But this just opens up the box of, well, can you tell us how you guys were put together then? Who convinced Banks to let Jason in? He said it was Rage, because Rage was already in FaZe before they put this new group in. So are you saying it was Rage and Kason that convinced Banks to add Jason into the group? If that's the case, because I remember when Jason was just blowing up, like he just got 100K subs. I was like, who the hell is this guy? That was the most, I felt the most out of touch, out of tune when that happened than probably any time before that. And now this guy's killing it as well. But with Banks, this just looks like, just show people, like, what's the next move? And it has to be in the content space. Like, we know Banks is a huge fan of music, especially rap music. Like, the guy's singing and dancing to Net Spend after this whole situation, this heartbreaking situation that came out with Plaqueboy Max. And I think he was trying to help out Plaqueboy Max in some capacity, but Banks' profession and what he kills it at is content. So it's going to be something involved in content. But FaZe has so much to do with that. You know what Banks should also take credit for is the proliferation of gambling on streaming as well. Because those early deals that he took with Aiden Ross when they would go to Mexico, you should take credit for that too, Banks, to be honest. I mean, that's probably not something he wants to throw on. I don't think he feels, yeah, let's talk about the CSGO gambling thing as well. I'm not saying that's bad of him or accuse him of anything, but those were some pioneering moves. You believed in those before a lot of other people did, for sure. So, but I just think it's not, this post wasn't necessary unless he was announcing the next thing. And he hasn't done that yet. When we don't know what the next thing is. And I don't know if he's able to leverage because the most recent thing that he had is you had investors with tens of millions. You had people that had a ton of views and you couldn't make it work. So what else can you do? And I think that's a difficult question that he's going to have to answer. Banks should also take a lot of credit for the vlog era. Like, he not take credit for starting it, but he was one of the top guys in vlogging. I think he vlogged for a year straight, which is grueling. I don't know how people were able to do that. So yeah, I just wanted to give him credit there for sure. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.